Hi, welcome to PN Snapshot. I'm Chaewon Moon and
I'm Ollie Terry.
we are both researchers at Peace Network. So today, what are we going to talk about?
Well, as people watching this are probably aware and have already seen, there was some big news recently, which was that President Donald Trump met Kim Jong-un at the DMZ, where they had a handshake and an hour-long meeting. This meeting came about after a seemingly spontaneous tweet from Donald Trump, which said, "If Chairman Kim of North Korea sees this, I would like to meet him at the border/DMZ just to shake his hand and say hello."
So it makes Donald Trump the first sitting US president to step on North Korean soil.
Right.
So was this just a photo opportunity or does it have more historic meaning behind it?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. It's certainly a good PR exercise for both, particularly for Trump, who gets a little bit of history for himself in being the first US president to set foot in North Korea. As for, is there more significance, is there something historic to it? There could potentially be a historic element in the sense it sets a precedent for the US in the way that it deals with North Korea. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute.
And more to that, it's not official yet, but President Trump invited Kim Jong-un to Washington, D.C., and Kim Jong-un did it too. So we might see both of leaders in each other's capital.
Who would have thought that was possible just a
I
few
know.
short months ago?
So what has the media response to this big event?
Well, starting with the Western media's response, I think in one word it's been mixed. The positives were that the two leaders were able to meet with very little build-up. They were able to put aside their differences and the sort of cooled relations of the past. It also showed that both sides were taking this denuclearization approach seriously, and shows that for Trump, North Korea and Kim Jong-un are top priorities. And by meeting him here, but by here I mean on the Korean Peninsula, it seems like he's sort of showing North Korea and Kim Jong-un the respect that they so often have felt has been lacking. Yeah, that's what I meant earlier when I said it sets a new precedent for the way the US deals with North Korea. So how about the North Korean media response?
North Korea's response was overly positive. Ever since the failure of Hanoi summit on February, Chairman Kim really needed a proof both from domestic and international. So it might have been a great opportunity for him to show his photo with a great power US president as an equal partner on the negotiation table.
So what can we expect after this meeting? What comes next?
We can expect more talks and a third official summit between US and North Korea. President Trump already officialized that there will be a work-level talks in upcoming few weeks.
So something probably within this month.
Yes.
Good.
So can we expect more developments from this event, like any further negotiation or results?
In terms of denuclearization and that process, it's kind of too early to tell, but it's certainly very good for relationship building. It certainly offers hope towards normalizing relations between Washington and Pyongyang, and for restarting the stalled talks. But the fundamental problem is when it comes to denuclearization, the two sides are still very far apart on the key issues, which are sanctions, if and when to stop them and to what degree. And when it comes to denuclearization, what's the model for denuclearization? The US is still pushing hard for CVID, whereas North Korea wants something more step by step. And timing of denuclearization. The US wants something quick, swift and immediate, whereas North Korea wants something more sort of step by step, long term, over a long period. Yeah. So the last summit in Vietnam fell apart due to failure to resolve these differences. So unless one side has something new to offer or can have some flexibility, then we're unlikely to see any changes.
Talking of flexibility and new approach, actually the New York Times reported that U.S. would agree to North Korea nuclear freeze. But right after that, National Security Advisor John Bolton denied it through his Twitter that he read the article, but neither the NSC staff nor he have discussed or heard of any desire to settle for a nuclear freeze from North Korea.
It's quite interesting. John Bolton, who's the National Security Advisor, and many people watching this will know he is very much an uber hawk, very, very right-wing. He's often unsettled North Korea in the past with his adherence to the CVID approach towards denuclearization as something which he himself has labelled the Libya model, which causes all kinds of alarm bells to go off in the heads of the North Koreans. He was absent from this meeting. He wasn't there at the DMZ. He was in Mongolia on other official business. Now, was this just a happy coincidence, or was this done deliberately to avoid the North Koreans backing off due to his presence? Who knows? But it's certainly an interesting point. And just a final point about nuclear freeze. We don't know at this moment in time if that's true. That's just conjecture. But I think history can show us that would be a successful way of approaching denuclearization, because it's something that North Korea will agree to because they've offered it many, many times in the past. Okay, I think that's all for this week.
Yeah.
I guess we can expect some news about a third US and North Korean summit sometime in the next few weeks, maybe by our next video, and of course we will bring you details of it as and when we have it.
Yes, and we are very pleased to present this wonderful historic moment with you guys. Thank you. See you next week.